So now your seedlings are at about 3 centimeters or taller and they're ready for transplanting. Now what's really important at this stage is before you cull any, you want to check with your coordinator. So if you feel like your seedlings are ready for transplanting, get in contact with your coordinator and tell them that you're going to do it and give them your numbers. Because there might be someone else out there that doesn't have as many as you, or you might not have enough to fulfill your order and someone else might have enough to help you make up the numbers. So this is where you want to get in contact with your coordinator. So you've got your seedlings and they're about 3 centimeters high like this, and often you'll have more than one in each tube and some tubes might not have any. So this is why we transplant. But what you want to do is you want to set yourself up with a nice tray like this with water, and to ensure best results I suggest is get some sea salt. This is a good soil conditioner and also is good for the roots. And you just want to put a little bit in and dilute that with water and mix it in. Now it's really important that you mix that in because you don't want that sea salt touching the roots directly. Okay, so you've got your water mix there, and then you get your multiple seedlings out of the tube and then you just peel them away gently to expose the individual seedlings, and you can just sit them in that mix of water and sea salt. Now this is at the perfect stage because these roots are about 2/3 the way down the tube and they're not too root bound, and so they're really great for transplanting. Now if you come across some bigger ones like this, which have got a lot larger root structure and will actually go a lot longer, all you can do is just take off the bottom bits on that and that's still fine to transplant. So you just want to separate them nice and gently, and then once you've got them, you can dip them in the sea salt water, and now pinching them in between your fingers like this and popping them in the tube. What you want to make sure is that root isn't longer than the tube, because if it is, it'll bend that root up and it'll become a J root. Now this might not seem like a big deal now, but when we plant them out, if they've got J roots on them, then they're going to be bound up, and if they get wind or anything, then they're just going to fall over. So you really want to keep that root nice and straight at this stage. So putting a little bit of soil in there, putting it to one side, popping the root so it's in the middle, so you're keeping the root in the middle, and then you're popping your wet soil and just tapping it down. Wet soil in around the other side and just tapping it down, and just keep moving it in like that. And what's really important is that soil is moist and you're not breaking off the roots, and then you've got just the top bit. Give it a little bit of a tap on top like that, and then that's you ready. That one's ready to go. So you can get sometimes up to 10 little seedlings out of one tube. Even with a big root ball like that, that's fine as long as it's not curling up at the bottom. You're just holding it between your fingers like that, putting the soil in, moving it around so you're rotating, so therefore it stays in the middle. Just gently holding it between your fingers and then moving it around. Double check them, because some of them, once you tap them down and you've watered them in, the soil might have dropped quite a lot and a little bit of white might be exposed, and that's the root. You don't want any of the root exposed at this stage. So what you want to do is make sure that that's all nice and covered, keeping this seedling in the center, and then water it in again, giving it another tap. If it needs a little bit more to build it up, do that. If you need to retransplant it, that's fine, it could probably handle it still. But what you want to make sure is that the root isn't hanging out at the top, okay? So it's nice and snug in there, and then that one's ready to go on. And keep an eye on them for the first few weeks. Don't put them out onto direct sun. Keep them either under shade cloth or just so they're just getting morning sun, just to start off with, just so they can settle in. And then once they start settling in, then you can put them out into full sun. Once again, only watering them once a day.